Good morning, everyone. We're back. Hey,
Good morning,
Kathy. Hi,
everyone.
Mary.
Good morning.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Kathy. Hi, Linda.
I feel so good to be back. I've not been myself for 3 months, and I've missed this. I mean, we did come back in January for one meeting, but since then, all hell's broken loose. So I'm feeling like today's a new start, a new day, and then we're gonna get back to normal, back to better, not just normal, back to better.
Right.
So part of our Kathy and I were talking that, we were doing a lot of research, and there's a couple of problems with that. One was that we sort of we've run out of topics that we haven't done to death. And the second problem was we've been doing them to death, meaning we spend all this time doing this research and just talking at you. And that wasn't really what we envisioned it being. And we really want to kind of turn over a new leaf with this new start and actually have a conversation with people, because, we're not experts, but everybody's an expert in something, right? So everybody has a little bit of knowledge that they can share, especially in personal experiences where, you've tried something and it's been helpful. Let's share that kind of stuff. And if somebody has a problem, let's brainstorm. Let's try to figure out ways to help each other to become healthy, well, wise, whatever that, living well and wise, in that spirit of things, that we keep growing better, not older. And I truly believe, like, that's sort of my philosophy, is like, I'm never going to be old. I hope. I mean, my spirit, I feel, is young. I still feel like I'm a kid, maybe because my dad's still here to make me feel like a kid. But I think the minute you start feeling old is when you start growing old. And I think we can prevent that with lifestyle choices.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else talk.
I agree. I think it's good for us to just chat with everyone, see what kind of, I don't want to say blocks, but stumbling we've all had along the way, getting to
sometimes there's blocks.
blocks, and see what'll help. Like, okay, with me, I did have COVID back in November, right over Thanksgiving. And I was down in Florida, ended up just being hospitalized for one night and was released, had my monoclonal antibodies and, got better. The only thing is I also had COVID pneumonia. And so there's still remnants of that showing in my lungs, my chest x-rays. But I've already had, since I left Florida, I had 3 x-rays, chest x-rays, so they can see, how it's going. And it's improving little by little. But they did say you can't have any more x-rays now for a good 4 months. So that's, they don't want to over radiate me, is what they said. So I do have a dry cough, that I'm dealing with. But one of the other side effects of COVID that I really didn't realize was losing your hair. Yeah.
Really? You know what? Denise had that problem. Yes. Yeah, my neighbor.
My little ponytail here is like maybe about a third or a half of what it normally was.
Wow.
I mean, and my daughter also had milder symptoms when she had COVID, Bobby, and same things happening to her. So one of my other daughters is a hairstylist. So she has me now using the shampoo, conditioner, and this serum, along with this massager thing, to use on my head probably, every other day. She says, try to wash your hair every few days at least and use all that, but use the serum and the massager every day. So it's just like something that the massager is just like you work it around. So I've been doing that now, and hopefully I won't be losing as much hair.
That's crazy. I have to ask my daughter if she noticed that because she had COVID a couple of times. But yeah, I remember Denise has been struggling with that. She's had her hair cut several different ways to kind of create the volume. And she was a hairdresser. So
Yeah.
you know, she's struggling with that still.
Yes, I don't know if
She
I'm
had
gonna
it
get
in
it cut.
July.
I don't know. I go see Mandy and not this week, but the following week before we go down to Naples. And so I don't know if I'm gonna get it like cut to here or what. I don't know.
You've got
We'll see.
something natural going here. I was just looking at your face thinking if you cut it to here, you've got that framework going on and it just frames
Yeah,
your face.
that's how I used to wear it like that. And I had it down to here and then to here and then back up to here. And then it was angle cut and, you know.
Yeah. Maybe with the hair loss, it would be good to kind of cut it in layers and frame
That's
them.
I'll ask Mandy. I'll just say, do whatever you think is the best thing to do, and she'll do it. And it always looks good when she does it. So, but yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. And this dry cough is driving me crazy. So
Now, I have a cough and I can't determine if it's a dry cough or a wet cough because I thought it was like from a post-nasal drip. I just have this need to cough, like it tickles my throat, but it doesn't seem as wet as it was when I had all my symptoms of this cold. So I'm not even sure. It was like, it doesn't feel dry, but it's just annoying. And it happens more at night when I'm just sitting and.
So maybe you are getting the post-nasal drip when you're laying down and.
Yeah, it's even when I just sit because I kind of move all day long. And then when I sit in the chair to watch TV and I'm crocheting and stuff, I'm like,
Yeah, and then I also noticed going out in the cold air or drinking something cold will trigger my coughing too.
I don't have cold air.
Yeah, cold. Yeah,
I think we're over that now.
we're rubbing it in, you guys. I'm in Michigan.
Sorry.
Kids had a snow day
Florida
yesterday. It was so crazy windy. All the snow that they shoveled is all back on the roads. So, but it's melting a little by a little with the sunshine.
Well, Mary, how you been? How you been? How have you been?
Not good. I've been pretty good except for my knees.
Yeah.
But I have Nicholas, my son, my youngest, just got a job.
Good.
So I've been driving him to work and picking him up from work.
But then you had your cataract surgery, so you can see better.
And I can see better. Yes. It's weirdest thing because I constantly wear my reading glasses out. And why can't I see? Because I'm so used to wearing glasses. Like right now I have my reading glasses on. They don't move.
So your distance vision is good now?
20/20.
Oh, nice.
Wow, that's
20/20 distant. It was very hard to get used to though, because for my entire life, I have had glasses since I'm 6 years old. I haven't been able to see. You know, I'm the opposite. I can only see things really close.
Right.
Couldn't see anything far away. So it took a while to get used to not having to wear glasses out. Oh, I can see. I'm like, it's weird, but it's good. I can
But
see
it's
now.
freeing. I wear contacts and I've had glasses since I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
But I don't think cataract surgery would do it for me, but there's some other procedure that they can do. That's what my eye doctor told me, and I wrote it down someplace. So when I get to that point, I can maybe get my eyes corrected. But my dad got corrected with cataracts, but my mom didn't. She still had to wear glasses. They did partial correction, but I'm like, why not? So
Yeah, that's weird.
yeah.
Did they do both eyes? Sometimes, you know, they'll do one eye and then you go back later for the other eye usually.
They did, but I don't know why hers wasn't corrected that way, but maybe it's similar for me. But yeah, like I said, there's another thing that they can do during cataract surgery that can correct it. So I'm hopeful for the future, but I don't need it yet. So
Mm.
So as far as this Zoom chat, and welcome Anita. Anita came on to listen because she likes to listen on Facebook. So she's here
Hi,
listening.
Anita.
Hi, Linda.
That we wanted to do this more of a conversation and what's going on and what, not that we can't do research if need be, like if something comes up in a conversation and we want to, any one of us wants to go look that up and bring it back the next week or something like that. But it's more about just having that conversation with people. And I feel, me personally, I don't want this to be about me, but it just, one thing is like, as I keep growing older and wiser and I have more time for me because I'm not working anymore, that I see all of these different choices that we make in our lives that to make our lives better, right? To make it easier, to prevent problems down the road, right? And I guess my personal philosophy is that I believe that you have your own, how do I say this eloquently? I don't know. That's not in my schema right now, but that you have choice, you make choices that create your future for you, right? And well, let's go back. God has a plan for you. And whether we listen to God or not is a whole nother thing. But also the choices that you make daily have an effect on your well-being. I guess that's what I want to say. So what you put in and on your body, how you spend your days, do you exercise at all? Do you have habits that are detrimental, or do you have habits that can build you up? But I believe that a good percentage, and I don't know what that percentage is, 80% of illness is stuff that we do to ourselves that we can prevent, or that we can at least alleviate somewhat by making better choices. And yet a lot of times we don't. And everybody has that list, right? Not everybody knows what to do, but when we hear that list of things to do, we make a choice. Are we going to do it, or are we not going to do it? And then some people are like, oh, don't eat meat. That, I could never do that. Right. Or exercise every day. Oh no, I could never do that. And we make those choices for ourselves. And then it's like, you make your bed, now lie in it. Right. But at any point along the way, I also believe that you can turn your life around, make positive choices to live healthier. So I guess what I would like this to be is just a discussion of some of those choices of what can we do to be healthier? How can we support each other in that journey and learn from each other? Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think one of the important things too is your mindset. It's what you keep, that story you keep telling yourself, whether it's about exercise, food, whatever, to help yourself to think more. And I don't want to just say think more positively, but be a little more positive in your choices and what you're doing, that it will help you. I mean, you don't have to like go cold turkey on everything, and, make those small choices to either for your mind, your body, whatever. When you're making those small choices, it's always a step forward. You're not taking that step backward or moving backward. You're moving forward with each positive choice you make for yourself, whether, like I said, whether it's eating habits, exercise, relaxation, whatever.
Yeah. And I like what you said about the mindset, because you have to be proactive and versus a victim, and you see people all the time is like, why is this happening to me? Everything bad happens to me. They play the victim, whereas you really have that control and you can be proactive and eliminate some of those things. It's a glass half full mentality, I think.
Right.
But I think maybe that's the first barrier that people have to get over, is that you don't have to be a victim, that you can do certain things to help yourself. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. I mean, I was sick for a couple of weeks, which I've not been sick. So that's why I keep thinking it's COVID, because when I started essential oils, like that changed my immune system, and I've been healthy. And if I catch something that somebody else had, especially when I was working, I was only sick for 3 days. That was it. And, I'm still have this residual cough from being sick from, the 3rd of February. So that's why I think it might be something more than that. But I just talked myself into a circle and forgot what my point was. uh, so during that time that I was sick, and maybe this is a self-care thing that we just have to give into. I try to eat plant-based, whole food plant-based most of the time. And I'm not saying I'm 100% perfect on that, because we'll go out, we'll have fish, we'll give in and have a cookie here and there. Like I am not the Gestapo with, have to eat this and that. You make those life choices, right? And sometimes you bend, because that's life and you want to have some pleasure too, right?
Mhm.
But when I was sick, I had chicken soup and grilled cheese sandwich almost every single night, because that's what I wanted. And that felt good. And I'm like, I shouldn't be having this. And I even made the chicken soup. I made it with chicken broth and bone broth, and real chicken. But that's what I wanted. That's what I needed, I think, at that point. So I don't think you can make hard and fast set rules for your life, but always choose the better when you can. Forgive yourself when you can't. Right.
Every day from the beginning of, it just because, and it's all ups and downs too. Like you said, some days you're, got that plant-based way up here. And because I'm the same way, we're mostly plant-based too. And that's the same thing. Sometimes we have that organic chicken, or we have, whatever. Today we're going to be celebrating Austin's birthday, my birthday, and my daughter-in-law's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way. It was Wednesday, right?
Happy birthday.
I didn't send any cards this year.
And so, I made a couple of different things, but I did make, I made an apple pie, and there's no sugar in it. I just use Granny Smith apples, cinnamon, and pie crust. And so I did that. And then I made a cheesecake using organic cream cheese, and it had other organic ingredients, but still, I probably won't eat that. I like apple pie more than I like cheesecake.
Yeah. No, you make choices, and then I think it's just always going a little bit higher on the hill, like trying to figure out what else can I do. And forgive yourself when you go down the other way. And it's not even a forgiveness. It's more of a, I'm only human. And this is part of the journey, is that sometimes I want a cookie, or, but knowing that that's not your life 24/7, that I'm not eating cookies all the time or every single day. But although I have been lately, it's been bad. I am still on that. But forgiving yourself and constantly trying to go a little bit better. With my dad being sick, stress has played a big element in what I've done. And so, I don't know if you've heard my background, but my dad went for a routine colonoscopy on November 29th and was in the hospital that afternoon with acute pancreatitis. And ever since then, except for 2 weeks, and anytime he's been in the hospital, he's been living with me, and I've been tending to all of his needs. So it's all about, when does dad have to eat, drink, have medication, all of that. And then in this last 2 weeks, well, for the last month, he's been on a feeding tube, but my brother was here from like the 15th of January to January 31st. So he did the last 2 weeks in January, and my dad lived at home during that time. But now, since February 1st or January 31st, he's lived with me. And again, another set, like I have to have a checklist, and my phone's going off every half an hour or so with something I have to do for dad. So I feel like I've been put on hold. I have not exercised. And I was exercising 3 or 4 times a week, going out to my boathouse where my makeshift gym is. I haven't exercised in this whole 3 months, and I feel terrible about it. Luckily, I haven't really gained much weight you know, maybe a couple pounds, but I think it's just because I've been so busy. But like life happens, stress happens, and then all of your regular routines fall out the door. So I need help getting back on track, getting back to doing, you know, taking care of me. And luckily dad will probably be, well, he's off the tube because the tube is clogged, but they'll probably pull it out on Tuesday when we go to the doctor. And that means we're on another trajectory now. Now, hopefully he can move home this week and he'll be able, his dog's been at the kennel for a month. And so lots of changes, but stress interferes too, right? And I haven't, you know, we talked a long time ago about stress and how you deal with that and all the coping mechanisms and yoga and meditation and all that. I haven't had time when I'm not taking care of dad. It's like, I just like sleep, or I've been crocheting. That's been my new therapy. So I've already made like 3 blankets. Yeah, well, the first one was a finished project and the next 2, I used a big thick needle and chunky yarn so I could do it in a week. So, but yeah, we like stress interferes with everything too, right?
Mhm. Also it causes a lot of inflammation in your body too. So then other things go crazy.
My back's been out. I went to a chiropractor and it's going to cost me $1,000 to get everything, like to go through a 5-week program, but he goes, don't start it until you're ready to commit to it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know when that's going to be, but maybe soon. If dad's back home, then my time's frees up a little bit. So
you said that, so he's on a feeding tube, or
it's one that goes up through your nose and down through your esophagus, and it bypasses the stomach to give the pancreas a rest, because part of his issue when after his pancreatitis, he was living here and I was feeding him. Would you guys stop texting me? Was that he didn't feel like eating. And he would get full after 2 ounces of anything. So he wasn't getting enough nutrition and he wasn't getting hydrated enough. So he was just malnourished and dehydrated. And he was in and out of the hospital. And finally, we were begging the doctors, we got to do something. We got to do something. So on the 10th of January, he had an appointment at Gainesville, which is an hour's drive from here. And the doctor was like, well, I can't do anything until I have some tests. And so you'll have to bring him back in a week or so. And I'm like, no, do you see him? He's wasting away. He can't go another week without eating and drinking and all that. So, so he goes, well, I could admit him today. I'm like, yes. So it took all day. We actually went and got a hotel room waiting for them to call us for a room. But finally that night he got into a hotel room and he was given the test, and then on the 2 days later, he went on the feeding tube. So, and the whole idea was he was malnourished. He had to put some weight back on, and he's almost back to weight now. But also to bypass the pancreas so that it can rest. He had some pseudocysts on there and all of that. So he was able to eat eggs this morning. I made him some scrambled eggs and gave him a Boost yesterday. I'm like, he's probably just gonna drink Boost a lot because we have to have low fiber, and I'm thinking low acid. Like he likes ketchup on his eggs, and I'm like, no ketchup for you because of the acidicness of the ketchup. I thought that's probably not going to be good. Let's go really mild for a while. They said mashed potatoes, Jello, bouillon, or whatever. So we'll get him started on that. Which leads me to a whole nother thing, is that how did he end up like that? Not taking care of himself, right? Eating junk and of the mindset that, well, I'm eating, but the quality of the food that you're eating is not good. And it hadn't been for a long time. My mom was always about saving money, eating getting a deal on a meal, or she loved canned foods, didn't eat frozen vegetables at all, like, and then just a lot of processed foods, you know. And as they grew older and they couldn't cook as much, you know, they were relying on takeout or frozen dinner types of things. And so I think a lot of that, I mean, he has ulcerative colitis on top of it, Anita. He's just got a whole slew of problems. He's got 2 hernias. He's got his gallbladder has to come out. He's got ulcerative colitis and an ileostomy, just lots of different things that are gastrointestinal. So that makes me even more determined for my health, for my family's health, to get the nutrition right, to get eating right, so that I'm not feeding my body with the things that are gonna, I have a family history of colitis, of people getting colitis, having ostomy bags, all of that. And I'm like, I do not want that. I've already lived with it for 3 years with my dad, and I'm his chief caregiver there. I'm the one who's changing that bag every few days. So I don't want that. So you have to make those choices for yourself, and everything affects you, right? I just found out, this is a weird thing. I have this weird rash on my arm. And when I looked it up over and over again, it's related to my neck and spine health.
Wow.
Like, who would have thought a rash on your arm is related to your, you know, how in line your spine is, but it is.
Well,
And
but it is, because that's where the nerves come off of your spinal cord leading to your arms. And so that's neck and upper there goes into your arms. Yeah.
so weird, but you know, everything you put in and on your body is going to affect you. Plus, you know, your physical
body's in alignment,
alignment,
yeah.
and
Because your
how
brain controls everything. And if you're not getting the right conduction going through, everything inside your body doesn't work to its fullest potential.
Mhm.
You know,
So is that anything
interfere.
shingles, or is it like similar? Isn't shingles has to do with your nerves and your nerve endings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe shingles is what ultimately, there's that alarm going off again. Yes, I want to mute that conversation and stop telling me stuff. Yeah, I think shingles ultimately killed my mom, because, and people always said, oh no, it's not that. And she had a really bad case of shingles when she was in her late 50s. And within a year or so afterwards, she had a disease called acute interstitial pneumonia that affected her lungs. And all of a sudden, like, her lung function was greatly diminished. So much that in a year or two after, she had to go on oxygen for a while, and she ultimately got a lung transplant. But I believe it was those shingles that, you know, they say it's on the outside, but I'm like, I think it got into her lungs and did lung damage there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so you have to really be careful with that stuff. And
Well, if
so,
chickenpox can get into your lungs, then I would imagine shingles can too.
yeah,
Because there have been cases back in the day when kids got chickenpox that sometimes it would affect their lungs, you know, that they could get chickenpox on their lungs, and sometimes it would affect their eyes and so many things. So I can see that shingles would do the same, because it's the same virus.
yeah. I don't know that I've ever had shingles. I mean, chickenpox.
I've had chickenpox.
My mom, she goes, I don't know. You might have had it when you were a baby, but I don't know. Like, it could have been a rash. Who knows? But she was never sure that I had it. So I'm like, I don't know if there's a test to know if I had it or not, or if I just have to avoid little kids and not get chickenpox. But my brother had it as an adult, when he was a young adult, and he was miserable. So, but can you get shingles if you haven't had chickenpox?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. All these things, you know, you think you got everything figured out, and then something else hits you for a whammy, right?
I know.
So, well, we don't have too much time left, but I want you to bring things to the table. Like if you have a condition or if you have something that you read in the newspaper and you want to have a discussion about it, bring that to us. And you can even send it in a text or post it on Living Well and Wise and say, hey, how about we talk about this? You know, I don't really want to plan it out for us anymore. I want it to be haphazard, and you know, if you've got something to say, speak up and say it. But I also want to change the name because it's always been Saturday Zoom, and that doesn't say much except for scare people away when they hear the word Zoom because they're like, oh no, I can't do that, right? But if it were more compelling, that maybe people would join us and have that conversation. And I'll figure out how to put it on Facebook, but I really like that it's, you know, when we have people to talk to. So thanks for joining in, Anita.
Thank you.
And Mary, as always.
Yeah.
So anyway, so names. I was brainstorming some names, but the idea is I want it to be provocative. I want it to be catchy. I want it to be cool and fun. But I want the name to tell people exactly what we're all about, or at least close to that. So it's kind of a tall bill to fill. Tall bill to fill. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I'll share my screen with you. I have a couple of brainstorming things that I just did. So, and I'm not sure I'm in love with any of these at this point. The Wonder Years. I just feel like you can be better than you are now. Tomorrow's another day, right? Or she's nice, and everything's full of cliches, but hopefully something here will speak to you, and maybe another idea will pop up. So if you get an idea, shout it out. I'll write things down, but we don't have to decide today. But you know, just looking, I don't know that any of these fit the bill that I've set, that, you know, I've set the level. But does anything speak to you there? Anything that you like, or can you tweak it? You can see it, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
I think the Wonder Years, I mean, it's kind of cool in a way, because remember they used to have that program on
Mhm.
called The Wonder Years. And so now this is the Wonder Years of wondering what comes next.
Yeah.
It's not
Wonder
the Wonder Years
I
from
would do too.
back.
Or maybe we call it the Wonderful Years.
Yeah.
Because if you are taking care of yourself, like I said before, I'm not ever going to grow old. I'm going to take care of myself, and every year is going to be wonderful. And
Age-wise will grow old, but
right. I mean, you're
that's it.
yeah. But you don't have to live old.
Right, exactly.
Not living old. That's not good.
The fountain of youth.
Yeah.
The Wonder Years was the one that was drawing my attention. I like the Wonderful better than Wonder, but
Uh-huh.
then the other one that kind of speaks to me is the Heart to Heart. But any of them are good.
Yeah.
The whole woman spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was trying to tweak it and I can't think of a tweak, but
I
it
wonder
just spoke
if
to me.
with the Wonder Years, we could put something, if it was the Wonder Years, but we could put an adjective in front of wonder, that brought us back to like, I don't want to say women, but bring us back to women's health and aging. And I don't know what that would be, but just something to add to the blank Wonder Years or something like that.
Mhm.
Or more Wonder Years. But that doesn't fall off the tongue easily.
You know, when I think of the years ahead, I almost think of unpredictable.
That's true. Wonderful woman.
Oh, let's see. Well, that may be
Dancing
homework.
through life too.
or keep dancing through life, or just keep dancing. But then that sounds like a dance thing and not a health,
Yeah.
you know. It's a hard thing because I also don't want to be too cliche and have a name that other people are already using and then becomes confusing. So I think we need to keep pushing and thinking on this to see what else.
Power through the wonder years, empower. I like the empowerment, but club, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the word empowerment, but power, I don't know.
Yourself. Power yourself. No.
Hmm.
Keep kicking. I don't know. It's so hard to come up with something that, that talks about aging in a positive way, empowering yourself, empowering choices. Something with empowerment and choices.
I liked aging in a positive way.
I'm wondering if we can do something with heart to something, like heart to another word. Heart to hell. No, that's not the right way. To heaven. No, I don't want to go there yet.
Heart to health.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Heart to health. I like that.
I would think that would be about heart health if I was reading that.
Yeah, our heart to heart for health.
Yeah, because that makes it more like a heart-to-heart talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Chat or whatever.
Heart to heart for
Yeah.
health.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm I am an impulsive person. I know that about myself. I get an idea and it's like, boom, there we go, and boom, and I make a choice, and then like 2 minutes afterwards, I'm like, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. So I like what we've come up with so far, and I like heart to heart for health.
Mhm.
Like that, but I'm gonna reserve because I'm playing
Sit
against
back, think
myself.
about it for a few days.
Yeah, and I want it to
anybody-
be a group choice anyway. So like,
Yeah, but I mean, if anybody has any extra or another way of saying something that's on the list or whatever, then
it-
message.
it doesn't have to be on the list.
Belinda,
Like I'll
or
post
that,
this.
right.
I'll post this, and I'll post a couple of other variations that we've come up with or suggestions, and I'll invite other people in Living Well and Wise to post some things, and then maybe I can do a poll later, and we can have people,
There you go.
vote on it or something to choose that name.
Yeah, narrow down to like 4 or 5 choices.
Yeah.
And
Good
the
idea.
poll. Yeah.
Right. So I'll post this graphic, add some of the things that we've said, and invite people to add choices. And then maybe next week we can talk about those choices and narrow it down, like you said, Anita, and that way get people to vote on what they like. So
Sounds good.
I think that's a plan. All right. What's to wrap up today, what's one healthy thing? Oops, I can stop sharing now. What's one healthy thing you've got on the schedule for today or this coming week?
Walking.
Walking, good. I hate walking.
So do I.
I mean, I think I would if I had somebody to walk with, but I also, like, my neighbors want to walk, but we have entirely like, first of all, my time hasn't been my own. So finding that time, but she's up really early and she wants to walk before I'm even out of bed or have my coffee. And I can't do that, and then somebody else wants to walk after dinner, but now it's getting to the time we could probably do that. But, if I walked with somebody, I'd be okay. But finding that walking partner, and my husband will never be that walking partner. He had to walk as when he was a brother, they had to walk every night, and he just feels like it's a forced thing. I don't like walking. But walking is so important. My dad, he's been going out 2-3 times a day and just walking down to the end of the street and back to get some exercise. What
You
else?
could walk with him.
I know I could, but he walks too slow. It's not going to do me any good. It's like little snail walk. What else? What are you doing to make yourself healthy? For some healthy choice this week?
There's a lady I've been following on Instagram, Jackie. I can't think of the title.
Yeah.
She's a woman. I want to say she's in the UK or Australia or somewhere. And so she does just short, little, quick, easy. She'll do modifications to different things. And I kind of was following along with her and had kind of had a little bit of a routine before the holidays. And then the holidays happened and I've fallen off that wagon. So
Right.
I've been watching her, hoping that it'll give me a little bit of inspiration. So, and we've kind of gotten now back into a little bit of a routine. Our work schedule has been kind of weird with COVID and back and forth between extended it's extended hours for us, but because the school had modified hours. So trying to get back into a routine and having a little bit more time in my morning break. So that's one thing that I said last week, I need to get back into doing that. So now you just made me say it out loud and put it out there, universe. So
now we'll cheer you on.
Yes.
Come back and report. Well, you don't have to report, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I mean,
Let
just
us know how it's going next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to set my goal low and say I'm going to exercise once this week. Hopefully more, but I'm going to get out there at least once. It won't be today because I already showered and that would just make me feel gross.
Right.
Actually, let me just share the screen really quickly. And this is Feeling Good with Jackie. Feeling Good Fitness with Jackie. And she does, this is what Anita was talking about. I don't think I have the. She's got so much energy. She's so much fun.
Everybody get up.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
On Instagram, Feeling Good Fitness with Jackie. So what are you doing, Kath?
Well, of course, exercise. I've been doing pretty good with that 5 times a week. So I feel good about that. And then the other thing is I went out, like I said, I went out to breakfast with one of my friends this morning to celebrate my birthday. And in my birthday gift that she got me, she also put a bar of chocolate in there, dark chocolate. She says, I know how much you're into the antioxidants. So I thought that's probably the only chocolate you'll eat. So I think I'm going to have a little bite of that today, just like break off a square and have a square every day. And that'll be part of my antioxidants. But I also have a slew of supplements I'm taking. So that's
I have to remember my vitamins. I don't think I took them yesterday. I don't remember. I have to eat first and I don't eat right away. So then I forget after I haven't eaten. My other big thing is I'm going to make a plan for nutrition, for food, because since we've both been sick, it's been haphazard and Dick's been out and picked up food for us a lot. Although the last couple of days I made a huge salad and I've been eating that. Like he's gone to Panera or someplace and I'm like, nope, I'm going to eat that salad I made. So I've done good there. But
There you
I
go.
need to make it, I need to get us back on track with healthy eating. And now I have to figure out what I'm going to feed my dad, because it was easy with a feeding tube. You just plug him in and he's good for 18 hours. But now I got to actually give him good nutrition, keep him healthy. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us this week. I am so excited. I think this is I don't know how you feel, but I'm feeling excited about the change, and just, it's like coffee talk, let's just have
That's
some
what I was
coffee
gonna say,
talk.
just bring your coffee.
Let's
It's like
chat.
going out to coffee with everyone in the morning.
And it's
That's
mostly
the-
about health and wellness, but it doesn't have to, we're checking
about
with each
anything.
other. It's girlfriends for life.
There you go.
All right. We'll see you next week, I hope.
All
right.
right.
All
Bye,
right.
ladies.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Linda.
Bye-bye.